Today's video is over the order of operations. Most of you know it as PEMDAS. So I'm going to explain what each letter means. You'll want to write this into your journal. The order of operations. So the P stands for parentheses. I'll try my best to use good handwriting. Okay, these are parentheses. And this step is only used if there is an operation inside the parentheses. So maybe we have adding two numbers inside the parentheses, or we have subtracting, or maybe dividing or multiplying. Okay, if you see a number like this in parentheses, that's nothing, you don't have anything to do inside the parentheses, so you don't have to worry about doing anything on for that step first, okay? Only if there's an operation inside the parentheses. E stands for exponents. Okay, so you want to find the value of those exponents. Okay, that means if you see 4 to the power of 2, then you're going to solve and say that that's 16. And then you can move on to your next step. The next step is M and D. These two steps, they go together. You decide which one to do first based on the order that they appear in the problem. So M is multiply, and D is divide. And we do these from left to right. Okay, so if you have 4 times 3 divided by 2, you would do multiplication first and then division second. But if you had 12 divided by 2 times 4, you would do division first and multiplication second, because we read these from left to right. So whichever one comes first from left to right, that's the one that you do first once you get to this step. Okay, the same thing is true for the last step, add and subtract. We do them again from left to right. So if you have, for example, 5 plus 3 minus 4, you would add first and then subtract. But if we had 10 minus 4 plus 2, you would subtract and then add, because we go from left to right. So we're going to do 3 examples following PEMDAS for each one. I would like you to definitely put these examples into your spiral, into your journal. So I have PEMDAS written on the side, and we're going to follow that. So we look first for parentheses. I see I have parentheses right here. And inside the parentheses, I see I have division. So yes, I'm going to start there and do my division first. Now what you see I'm drawing here is what we call a caret. It's like an upside down arrow. And so that just means I'm combining those two numbers and doing their operation, 30 divided by 10. That equals 3. Now I'm going to keep the parentheses around it and bring everything else down. It's very important we only do one step at a time. All right, my next step is exponents. So I have here 3 to the power of 2. Remember that means 3 times 3, which equals 9. Bring everything else down. Okay. Next, I have multiplying and dividing from left to right. So as I read this, I see 50 minus 9 times 4 plus 3. So this dot means multiply. So 9 times 4 is what I'm going to do next. My dogs might start barking here in a second. I'm really sorry if they do. Shh. Hush. 9 times 4 is 36. Bring everything else down. All right, last step, we have add and subtract from left to right. So as I read this, I have 50 minus 36 plus 3. The minus comes first, so I'm going to subtract first. 50 minus 36. That gives us 14. And then we're left with 14 plus 3, which gives us 17. All right. So in this example, we had parentheses, we had exponents, we had multiplying, and then we had to do subtraction, then adding. Let's see another one. All right, again, we have our PEMDAS over here. We're going to start with our parentheses. Now, very interesting, inside my parentheses, I have exponents and I have dividing. So which one do I do first? I'm going to do exponents first because that comes before dividing in my order of operations. So exponents first. 4 squared means 4 times 4, which is 16. Bring everything else down. I continue working inside my parentheses and finish it off. 16 divided by 2 is 8. All right. I have finished the work inside the parentheses. You'll notice that I still kept the parentheses around the 8 because the 5 is touching the parentheses right here. Everyone see that right there? The 5 is touching the parentheses. And that is super important. It actually means multiply. So when a number touches the outside of the parentheses, it means multiply. You might want to write that down. All right. Now we move on to our next step. We did parentheses. Let's go to exponents. The only exponents we have left is here, 2 to the 5th power. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I'm going to do 2 at a time like this. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I have to bring down this last 2. 4 times 4 is 16. And 16 times 2 is 32. Everything else comes down. Oop, I already have the plus sign. All right. My next step is multiplying divide from left to right. Well, as I read this, I have 30 divided by 5 times 8 plus 32. My division comes first. Okay, so I'm going to divide first. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Bring down the parentheses and the 8 plus 32. And now I can finish this step by multiplying 6 times 8. That's 48 plus 32. And my last step is to add these two. 48 plus 32. I want you to notice that I am doing my extra work off to the side. That should be an 8, sorry. So this extra work is off to the side of my paper. Everything else, my actual problem, is being completed in the form of what we call a pizza slice. Woo! No. Like this. So everything's nice and neat and forms a nice slice of pizza. All right, last one, real quick. I wanted to show you a problem that looks like this because sometimes you will see the division in the form of a fraction. So a fraction means divide. Okay, we're still going to follow PEMDAS, but we're going to solve everything on top first, and then we're going to solve what's on bottom, and then we will divide those two numbers. So I'm going to rewrite what I have right here from the top, and I'm going to follow PEMDAS. First step is parentheses. Inside my parentheses, again, I have exponents and dividing, so exponents first. 2 to the 4th power, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. Bring everything else down. Keep the parentheses. 16 divided by 8 to finish our parentheses gives me 2. All right, next step. I did parentheses. I don't have any other exponents in this problem, so I'm going to move on to multiplying and dividing. Remember, when the number touches the parentheses, that means divide. 3 times 2 is 6. And then my last step is to finish off with 18 plus 6, which gives me 24. Okay, so that's just the top. I'm not done yet. So right now I have 24 over 2 to the power of 3. So now I need to solve 2 to the power of 3. Let's go. Yeah. Okay, 2 to the power of 3 means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, 24 divided by 8. That's what we have right here. a division problem. 24 divided by 8 equals 3. So our final answer is 3. All right. Make sure you get these 3 examples into your spiral and do your vocabulary words.